So a couple days ago, OnePlus officially stated that they are supporting 30-watt wireless charging on the OnePlus 8 Pro, which is very exciting for a lot of people. Like, we've never had wireless charging capabilities on any OnePlus phone, so it's really cool that they finally brought it into their device line. But as I looked at this article, I was like, I had never actually seen the specs before, because I did some early design coverage, like some of the leaked aesthetic design of the phone. I never actually looked at the specs until yesterday, and some of it is still rumored, but a lot of it has been confirmed by OnePlus. But we're looking at stuff like 120 Hz screen, Snapdragon 865, 5G support, super fast RAM, super fast storage. It's got that 30-watt wireless charging feature. It's got a single hole punch camera up front. It's got a triple camera system in the back, and the whole thing is now IP certified, water resistant. So the whole phone is like, it's clearly feature packed. You look at that list, and the first thing that came to mind, well, two things. First thing is like, wow, that's very impressive. But the main thing that jumped out at me was like, this is now a bona fide flagship phone. Like, this is the first truly flagship phone that OnePlus has ever put out, in my opinion. Like, they've always had phones that they labeled as flagships, but they always had features that were missing, like the wireless charging and like water resistance, or at least IP certified water resistance. And when I take a step back and I kind of look at the timeline of what OnePlus has done over the years, it's very impressive what they've done. Like, it's been a 6-year ride for them. They went from nothing to at least in the enthusiast crowd, a well-known name for smartphones, but they're now competitive. Like, they can actually make smartphones that compete with the best manufacturers out there, which is really impressive. But over the years, I feel like they've had to kind of tweak their formula, kind of adjust what their goals were every year to kind of like tweak things and shift things. But over the past couple of years, they've been really focused on speed, like making these phones super fast, to the point of like they've been tunnel visioned on speed, to the point of almost exclusion of everything else. And sometimes that focus is great. Like, they were one of the first phones out there that brought high refresh screens to consumer phones. Like, there were gaming phones like the ROG phones, like the 2 Razer phones. There were other companies that were bringing high refresh screens, but they were clearly gaming oriented. This was a phone, like the OnePlus 7 Pro, was a screen that was like, it was geared just to the enthusiast, the smartphone enthusiast that cared about speed. And they did a really good job at it. And they also made it a desirable thing. Right now, a lot of other companies are bringing in high refresh screens, and they're now bumping theirs to 120 Hz this year. And OnePlus phones also have incredibly fast face unlocks, incredibly fast fingerprint unlocks. Like, they have some of the fastest mechanisms built into their phones, even their collaborations with brands. Like, they go for race car companies. Like, they're clearly interested in speed. Even their storage, they're running UFS 3 storage, very fast stuff, and the RAM on the OnePlus 8 Pro, LPDDR5X, like, it's bleeding edge, super fast stuff. Even their charging, like, I feel like I'm driving the point a little bit hard here, but if you think about phones, like OnePlus 3, I think it was the OnePlus 3, they first included the dash charger. Like, they were already including, well, at the time, super fast charging into their phones. We look at that, 20, 25 watt charging now, and it's not super impressive, but they've always tried to incorporate like the fast experience for their user base. It was what they were good at. Now, there is a flip side to this, because there are disadvantages when the company is so focused on this whole thing about a fast experience. When you look at older OnePlus phones and you look at their lack of wireless charging, it's weird, right? These are glass-backed phones. You could easily put Qi wireless charging into this stuff if you want. It's not super expensive. There's like $5 mods out there where you can upgrade like older OnePlus phones to support wireless charging. It's very doable. But the reason why, at least they claim the reason why they didn't put it in, was because they weren't satisfied with the speed of wireless charging back there. So for 3 or 4 years, we just did not have wireless charging on OnePlus phones, even though everyone else in the world was getting it. They didn't support it because they did not find the speeds sufficient to their vision of what a OnePlus phone should provide for their user base. And like, you see what I'm saying? It's kind of like, okay, I mean, I understand that you're going for speed, but we don't get wireless charging for years. And then there's the other bigger problem of pricing, because when you want to have the fastest phone possible and you want to try to provide the best, smoothest, and speediest experience for your user base, you have to put in bleeding edge parts. You have to put in very expensive storage. You have to put in expensive RAM. You have to put in expensive everything, expensive screens. The whole phone becomes very expensive. And that's one of the reasons why OnePlus pricing has just gone up and up over the years, because they've been so focused on that goal of the fastest user experience. So this is my question. at what point does this pursuit of speed become something that's just like a little too much? Like, I don't know the pricing of these OnePlus 8 phones yet. We won't know until next week, but there's a part of me that's like, I love the idea of a smartphone that's super fast. I enjoy that speed. A lot of people do. But these phones are becoming crazy expensive because of that pursuit. And it's not just the SoC, right? It's the RAM, the storage, the display, the charging. Like, every component of these flagship phones has to be focused on performance to be able to fit that whole design mantra of speed is important. And I also wouldn't be surprised if that focus affects their decision making when it comes to adding new features. Like, what if they have some offbeat idea that isn't focused on performance? I have a feeling it wouldn't fit into their designs because they're just so tunnel visioned on speed right now. So if you're a OnePlus fan, or even if you're not, is performance super important to you? Or do you feel like companies should focus on things that aren't just speed? Like, I feel like there's a lot more to phones than just performance, but I'd like to hear what you think. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. I'll see you guys next time. I think I said the word speed like 200 times this video.